Welcome to Down The Sideline. What's going on, everybody?
What's up? What's going on, man?
Hey, everybody.
Wow, and what do you guys think of last week's games? There's been some crazy games last week, huh?
Yeah, last week we had Notre Dame, Clemson, West Virginia, OU, Texas, TCU, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Florida. And Mike was 2 for 3, I was 2 for 3, Kevin was 2 for 3, and Opie was 3 for 2. So we were all about even with Ope taking the cake last week.
There you go, Opie.
Biggest surprise from last week's games?
Ole Miss, Florida.
Yeah, I'd say so. That was just wow. That's all I got written down on my hand. It's just wow.
And really, I can't believe that Greer played as good as he did. And I don't think anybody thought that he was going to play that good. I don't think so. And if he continues to play that good, Florida's going to be really good.
And Ole Miss just didn't come to play at all, seemed like.
No, they did. They looked just flat.
You think Greer pulled the old Michael Jordan and overcame the flu to play better, play lights out?
I'm sure he had an IV all week long to try to get ready, along with everybody else as well, I'm sure.
You know, I thought, though, about the game is because I think I texted all you guys. I know I texted Mike. I can't remember if I texted everybody or not. But I said, did anyone, or I said kudos for whoever picked the game. But, you know, if you go back and you watch the Ole Miss and Alabama game, Ole Miss played very similar in that game. The only difference is that Alabama turned the ball over 5 times. And they weren't necessarily Ole Miss forcing him as much as Alabama just not playing good and making bad decisions. So, I mean, because I don't like Alabama so much that I really held that win up higher than I probably should have. Because they didn't look much better in that game against Florida than they did against Alabama. Florida just didn't turn the ball over.
Well, and that kind of ties into what I was going to say about Notre Dame and the Clemson game, but we can talk about that a little later.
Oh, I got some stuff to say about Clemson.
Yeah, well, we'll save that for a little bit later. But I didn't think about that, Opie. You got a good point there. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have held Ole Miss to such a high standard, and we just knocked out Florida. I don't know. I definitely did for sure. Yeah, Greer played a great game. He needed to. He needed to be smart, and he definitely was that game. He hit his receivers, and he just played the game he needed to play against Ole Miss for sure. I mean, that was the deciding factor on that end was could Greer play smart, and he definitely showed that he could. So I give him total kudos, and yeah, I mean, I can't believe Ole Miss just didn't show up. They just, like Mike said, they looked flat, and hopefully they can turn that around this week, but we'll have to see. It's not going to be much of a match. I mean, they're playing a crappy 0-4 team, so it's not going to show till I guess a couple of weeks. But hopefully, we'll see what happens. Florida looks good. We can talk about the game they're going to play later if we want to. But yeah, Florida looked good. And I was definitely surprised for sure.
Well, to hang out on the Ole Miss stuff, I don't think any of us thought that, Ole Miss is going to go into Gainesville and they're just going to smoke, they're just going to smoke the Gators. I didn't think that Florida was incapable of winning. I don't think that anybody else did. I think it's just that, everybody else sat down watching the game. It's like, okay, they're fixing to score in some bunches. They're fixing to score. And we just sat around and that never happened. And we're like, oh, okay. And by we, I mean just everybody in the world that happened to be watching the game, that follows college football.
Yeah, and that's the only game I actually did not watch any of. The rest of the games I caught glimpses of. I was at ACL all weekend, but I did manage to catch some football. But yeah, this is the only game I had to totally look back on and just look at it, and I was just like, wow, I'm amazed at the score of that game. So.
I watched a lot of this game, and I watched a lot of this. I think this one and the Georgia game was going on at the same time. And I just couldn't believe both of the games I was watching, that they weren't even close. I mean, the score was only at halftime was 25-0 in Florida, but it didn't even feel like it was that close. I mean, Ole Miss, if you'd have told me, if I was just watching this game and not seeing scores, I would have thought it would have been a lot more than 25-0 because Ole Miss looked bad in the first half, and they only turned the ball over one time. But, I mean, Florida had almost 400 yards of offense. Alabama a few weeks ago had over 500 yards of offense. So maybe the Ole Miss defense isn't quite as good as we thought they were, or at least as good as they were last year.
And a lot of the games were upsets or almost upsets. I mean, Ohio State winning by a touchdown, Michigan State winning by 3, and then you got all these other teams that you would have expected to win big, just get beat, like UCLA losing. Like what in the world happened this week?
Craziness. That's what makes college football great.
They didn't put pressure on Greer either. I mean, he had pretty much a clean pocket whenever he was back to pass most of the game. It wasn't like he was under pressure having to run for his life or anything. I mean, if you're at D1 school and you're getting to sit back there and just throw the ball, and it's not hard to play. I mean, we're talking that he's a great athlete regardless of him playing out of his mind, but it wasn't like he was pressured and making these great throws.
We're all surprised about that game, that's for sure. Do you want to talk about any of the other games? I guess, Mike, you're kind of clamoring at the bit to talk about Notre Dame Clemson game.
No, I just got some stuff to say about Clemson, but I got to look up a few things and get all my stats in line. I know what I'm going to say. I think Chef should talk about Texas.
Let's just let that one slide. It's not his fault.
I saw an interesting stat line over the weekend or over this week. Texas, the teams they've lost to are combined 19-1, and the only losses Notre Dame's lost last week, or their losses would be against teams that are 20-0. It's not like they're losing to bad teams. They're losing to legit solid teams, at least this early in the year.
You talking about Notre Dame?
No, he's talking about Texas.
Yeah, their 4 losses have been against teams that are combined 19-1. Now that says something. And 2 of those games were close. 2 of those games weren't close.
You know what I got to say about that?
What's that?
Opie, you know what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
Well, they tried hard.
I don't know if they even tried hard, man. Dadgum.
I'm listening. See, I didn't get to watch the game. I'm listening to it on the radio at work, right?
It was 30-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, here's the punt. Punt goes over his head. Safety. They get the ball and kick it out of bounds. Great job. Just what TCU needs, a short field to play with.
I mean, their special teams is awful. I mean, they have no punch when it comes to offense, really. I mean, they just look piss poor. I mean, and their secondary is awful as well. I mean, next week they're playing Oklahoma. It's going to be more of the same, I think. It's going to be a low score for Texas, high score for them.
I'm going to start lifting weights. I'm going to get pumped up, dude. I need to go back to school and get my master's. I'm going to see if I can't walk on and be a punter. I got a chance. I mean, the field's 50 yards wide. I think I can keep it in between that.
You don't even have to pump weights for that.
All right. Henry Hossel says, are y'all impressed with Michigan's defense?
Yes. Wholeheartedly, yes.
Yes.
I said that I haven't been able to watch much because normally the Big Ten plays in the mornings, and I'm usually working during the morning. So I'm listening to it, but listening to it and trying to work at the same time, you're not really, paying attention to it.
I'm going to make sure to watch Michigan this week. I want to look at them with my eyes and see. But, yeah, their stats are no joke. I mean, you can't deny stats, really.
But anything on West Virginia OU?
Turnovers are killers, and that's for multiple games. I still like West Virginia. I think they're a great-looking team. 5 turnovers, I mean, that was just awful for them. They made a great comeback towards the end of the game. Those turnovers killed them, man. They just need to work on holding on to the ball, and I think they'll have a good chance. I think, actually, this week coming up, I think they're going to beat Oklahoma State. That's who I have picked. I know we might not talk about that game, but if we do, I'm going to pick West Virginia on that game.
They're actually, I was telling Shep before we started the recording that they're actually favored by 7 points against Oklahoma State.
I'd agree. I mean, Oklahoma hasn't really played anybody.
Yeah, they're giving Oklahoma 7, which they're playing at home, but I thought that was a lot.
So what game are we going to talk about next? The Clemson game? Notre Dame Clemson? And then we'll jump to Alabama?
Yeah, sure. Okay, one of the things that I wanted to say about Clemson, and I've hated on the ACC, mainly because of Brandon. I make jokes. He's Duke Blue 4. I just make jokes about that because he's been in the subscriber dynasty. We've played each other, and over 6 seasons have been recording and doing this stuff for a little over a year now. So, but anyway, Clemson's for real. And they've beat some teams and done some stuff, and some of the stuff I was going to look at. So they've beaten in the past, like over the last, since 2013. They've beat Ohio State. They've beat Georgia Tech. They've beaten South Carolina. They've beaten Oklahoma. I mean, they've beaten some really, really good teams. And this year, they're still beating people. So, Notre Dame played it close. But Clemson, dude. They're playing really, really good football.
It was in the rain. I mean, I'm going to defend Notre Dame a little bit there. I mean, they played in the rain. That was a tough game for them to play. They turned the ball over 4 times that game. 4 times. And they only lost by 2. And I think they lost that game for a coaching error at the very end of the play for that 2-point conversion. They should not have ran the ball on a freaking toss or whatever, sweep out on the right side. I think that was poor coaching on their part. I think they could have got that 2-point conversion if they ran like a play action. Just gutted it up the middle like they were doing pretty much all game. Well, actually not all game. They actually, Prose or whatever his name is, they didn't run the ball very good that game. But, I mean, they should have left it at Kaiser. I mean, he made an awesome comeback in the fourth quarter. He brought the team back. Like I was saying before, Kaiser, that freshman, he's good. That kid is really, really good. They should be glad they got that kid. I mean, because he brought the team back. I mean, that's what he did. And I think Notre Dame just had a bad coaching call for those last 2 points that they needed to tie it up and send that thing into overtime. But that was a great game to watch. I watched that game, and that was an awesome game to watch.
So let me ask you this then Skiro. So do you think this Clemson win could kind of sort of be compared to the Ole Miss win against Alabama, with Notre Dame turning over 4 times and Clemson only turning over once, since they only won by 2?
I would. I actually would. I would consider that. If you turn the ball over 4 times and you only win by 2 points, that's saying something. Yeah, I like Notre Dame. I think that game doesn't really show what they could do. I mean, Kaiser, obviously, I think that just showed what the kid can do. I mean, as a freshman, and just imagine in a couple more years how good he's going to be. I just don't think Clemson's just the team that everyone's hyping them up to be. I mean, they are strong. I just don't think they're the team that everyone says they're going to be.
Cal, Utah. Is that what we're going to talk about? They're playing in Salt Lake, right?
So is Cal Utah our first game?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to go ahead and pick Utah. Their defense is good. They're playing in Salt Lake City. It's a hard place to play. Utah's going to win that game.
I agree with Mike. Utah is going to win. They have a good set of linebackers on that field. And once again, like I was saying earlier, Cal barely beat Texas, and we've all seen how well Texas has been playing lately. If you beat Texas by one missed pat, I mean, you're not as good as they haven't played anybody really, honestly, I don't think. I guess Washington might be their hardest team that they've played this week. I mean, this year. I'm going with Utah as well. I mean, Cal, they look good. Cal's going to play a good game, but I don't see them overtaking Utah at all.
What do you got, Oak?
All right. Well, I'm taking I'm for sure taking Utah. Let's see. Yeah, Cal has not played anyone to be like you just said, Kevin, and maybe you had already looked it up. If you did, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm only picking them. I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of Utah games, but if Texas almost beats you, then there's a problem. I'm taking the Utes, and it's gonna be worse. It's gonna be about like the Oregon game.
Every down the sideline, every team we can do is going to be compared to Texas. Well, if you only beat Texas by a little bit, well, it's not very good. But if you smoke Texas, you a good team.
You know what? I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to take Cal. Utah hadn't really played anybody either. They played an Oregon team who shouldn't even be ranked anymore. They lost their starting quarterback. Might as well just yeah, exactly. Might as well just get that season over with. Utah beat Utah State. They beat Fresno. Who did they beat other than Michigan to start the season? And they barely won that game. Yeah, I don't think they're going to pull out the win this week. I think their defense is going to sputter and they're going to lose.
They beat Michigan. Utah beat Michigan.
That's to start the season. They beat Michigan by 7.
Okay, they beat Michigan and Oregon. That's more than what Cal has beat. Who's Cal beat? I mean, I'm fine with you taking Cal.
Cal's already got 2 conference games under their belt, and they're 5-0. Utah's got 1, and that's about it.
Against the best team in the conference, maybe the best team last year.
Best team last year. I don't think Utah's got a chance this week. I say Cal wins by 2 touchdowns.
I tell you what, the only time Cal would have a chance if they're playing in, well, wherever place they're from in California.
Cal's gonna win by 2 touchdowns. Hey, I've been wrong a couple of times. We've all been wrong a lot this year. I'm saying Cal's gonna pull out a big win this week. I was wrong with my upset last week. I won't be wrong this week.
Chef gets one upset. Now he's the cockiest dude I've ever met. No, that's you, Brandon. That's you, Mister. I just want to let everybody know that I'm 4-0. When the first thing you said in the chat was I was wrong about Ole Miss.
All right. Let's go on to the next game.
What is the next game? I'm unprepared today, sirs. I'm the shittiest talk show host ever.
What about OK State, West Virginia?
Yeah, let's do Oklahoma State, West Virginia, because West Virginia is actually picked to win this game, or they're favored to win this game.
Are they playing in Morgantown?
Yes.
I can go first. I'm taking West Virginia because Oklahoma State barely beat Texas. I'm just kidding, Chef. But I am taking West Virginia. They play pretty good at home. They play real hard when they're at home in front of that crowd. So I'm going to take West Virginia to win. I don't think they win by 7. That's what they're favored by. I think that's a little high, but I think they win the game. Probably 31-29.
I'm going to pick West Virginia as well in that game. Like I was saying earlier about West Virginia, I think they just got 5 Tormers just killed them last week. They're still a good-looking team. Howard, over 1,000 yards, 10 TDs. So is Randolph for OK State, though. But I don't know who Oklahoma State's played, really. Have they played anybody that's worth commenting on? Yeah, I mean, and half of those, Kansas would be their toughest team, and they want. Powerhouse Kansas. I'm agreeing with Opie on this one. West Virginia for that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Silver again. I'm taking Oklahoma State. They've proved
Jesus.
They've proved to be a better overall team, man. Just because they don't run the ball as much, they're throwing the ball like crazy. They both scored about the same amount of points. Oklahoma State's just giving up a little bit more because they played K-State, who's not a bad team in the Big 12. I'm saying Oklahoma State's going to win.
I'm taking West Virginia just because they're playing in Morgantown.
All right, I'm taking my non-upset with ranked Oklahoma State.
No, I like this Florida-Missouri game, honestly.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's a nice matchup. I like that one.
I can go first. Okay, let's see. I'm going to open up and see who Missouri played. I think that Florida's going to keep the roll going. Oh, yeah, because Missouri just lost to Kentucky. There's no way I'm taking Missouri in this game. So, well, they play hard out there, but they just don't get it done. And the UConn game, I remember watching this game because I couldn't turn it off, and they won 9-6 because we ran a fake field goal. Not we, but UConn ran a fake field goal on 4th down with like 30 seconds left instead of a 4th down play. Yeah, Missouri's getting beat. I think this is going to be similar to the Ole Miss game.
All right, who's next for the Missouri?
I'll guess I'll go. I might just pick Florida just because. I mean, they're going off that win against Ole Miss last week, so they got to win high. Greer's too excited. I don't know. This might turn out to be a good game. We'll have to see. But I think I'm going to pick Florida on this one, actually. I'm going to go with Opie on that one.
Chef?
I'm going to take Florida, too. Missouri's, like, Matty Mock's not even playing much anymore because I think he got benched after his horrible start. So they got a backup coming in. He's done pretty good the games he's played. He was 21 for 28 last week, but I think Florida's just got their number this week, and they're going to come off that high, like Kevin said, and keep on rolling against Missouri. Oh, he was suspended. Mock's suspension will continue through at least Saturday's game against Florida.
Yeah, that's definitely going to seal the deal for me on Florida then.
I think I'm going to take Florida as well, even though they're playing in Mizzou, or in Columbia. All right, our last game is the Northwestern Michigan.
Yeah.
Chef, take it away, my man.
This should probably be the game of the week. Both of these teams have been outstanding on defense. Michigan's most points allowed all season was against Utah. And after that, they've only allowed 14 over the last 4 games. Whereas Northwestern, they do just enough to get by. They produce just enough to win, minus the one exception. And they shut out a Minnesota team that a lot of people projected to get to the conference championship. I think it's going to be a stellar game, definitely worth watching. But I'm going to go with Northwestern because of my boys in purple from the Subscriber Dynasty. I think they got it.
I mean, they beat Duke.
Duke's currently set up to go to the conference championship if they keep winning.
I'm going to pick Michigan on this one. I think Michigan's played a little bit tougher teams than Northwestern. I mean, they have done some good things over there. I think Michigan's just going to be a better team. I mean, and they didn't lose to Utah. How much? 7 points, a touchdown. I mean, and since then, I mean, they've been a tour de force. I mean, like Chef said, they've held teams to only 2 touchdowns since then. I mean, they've just been outstanding. I agree with him. It's going to be a tough game for both teams, but I'm going to pick Michigan coming out in this one.
Well, here's what I got to say. I think that the Stanford game for Northwestern can be one interesting thing I saw, because I actually watched a lot of that game, was that Stanford had to get to the field at what was considered 5:50 their own time, their body time, because they played an 11 o'clock game in Northwestern. So I think that was one of the reasons why Stanford came out so sluggish, because they've played a lot better since that game. So I think that Northwestern has had the easier schedule. I mean, except for Duke. So I am going to be taking Michigan. And plus, I think if Michigan wins, it seems like in college football you always have these games that a team wins the week before to set up a great matchup. I think Michigan winning this game sets up a really good one next week against Michigan State, with them coming in with 1 loss against the Spartans, who have no losses right now. So I'm taking Michigan.
This game, it is going to be close. It's probably going to be, to me, it's a coin flip game. Neither one of them have really played really strong, opponents. If I think anything, here's this. I'm going to take Michigan, and here's why. I think that Harbaugh can probably he's probably going to outcoach the other guy. He knows what he's doing over there. He's got that team rolling. And so because of Harbaugh's a good coach, I think I'm going to take Michigan, and because I think they're playing at home. If it was the other way around and they were going to Northwestern, I'd probably pick the other way. But I'm going to pick Michigan. But like I said, this game is going to be close. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
To go off of what you're saying there about the coaching, and this is just because we make this joke all the time, but this team is pretty much the same team that was there last year for Michigan, and I don't want to use the cliche, they play hard for him, but this team really does play harder for Harbaugh than they did for the coach they had. I don't even know who they had last year, because it's not like this Michigan team is this all of a sudden talented group that came out of nowhere and they're ranked number 18. They're just playing smarter, harder, and they're buying into what the coach is selling, which I think definitely helps them out. And I think with his experience, the coaching experience, that gives him a real shot in this game.
Oh, nice. The live show is easily much better than the Saturday recorded one.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon.
I'm glad.
Dang right, because you get that interaction, man. That's what we wanted. We wanted that live interaction.
All right, we're going to wrap up Down the Sideline. I want to thank everybody that joined us during the stream. Silver 879 and Duke Blue 4. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us today, making all the comments and stuff. There was some other people that stopped by and stuff, but they stuck around pretty much from the beginning to the end, and that I want to thank you guys. And I also want to thank everybody else that's with me, with Chef, Kevin, and Opie.
Thanks for having me again this week. I'm glad y'all brought me back. I guess y'all did not like me. Wait, that's not proper grammar, but I don't know what that is, so I'm going to go ahead and shut my mouth.
It's all good, man. It was fun being here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks for inviting.
All right, we'll get ready for another nice week of college football. We'll see you back again, same time, theoretically.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.